they're not making some big mistakes with their food, but they've got two that stick out to me that I think could help a lot of us. So let's just dive into what he's eating and what I notice and what I would say, hey, here's what we can do about it. And we'll get the scale moving again. Let's get to it. Let's share the screen. Boom. Here we go. So if we look at breakfast, okay, breakfast is 4 eggs, 2 slices of whole grain bread with butter, and 5 slices of summer sausage. Okay, got it. This person is just sending me food that they have. They're not worried about tracking anything yet. My main assignment was just send it to me. Send me pictures if that's what you need to do. And we'll kind of estimate what you think that would be in calories, and carbohydrates and fats and stuff. But it's just to learn. Lunch was no pizza bones. I call them that. No crust on Papa John's leftover pizza. It's like the meat pizza from Papa John's. God, that was what I used to eat. I totally would too if I still showed up and found some Papa John's. And it sounded weird, like I find it on the sidewalk. I wouldn't eat that. And then we got some garlic sauce here, so I'm going to assume since it's open that we ate it. And just like ranch, like we use that whole thing. Dinner. This is self-recorded, by the way, of 1 cup of pasta, 2 meatballs, some sauce, and some cheese. I don't know about you guys. I see a little bit more pasta there, and so we'll kind of get to it. So if this is a day of eating, a couple things I like is that this person's eating 3 meals a day, and they're not snacking all day. So that's already a really good start. I also like that there's protein with everything. We've got meat here. There's meat on the pizza. There'd even be protein in the cheese. And we definitely have some of the best protein you're ever going to find ever. I mean, I would probably argue and say the best pure protein you'll ever find is eggs. And so we've got some good protein. Well, let's break down what that comes out to calorie-wise. His guess was, 1,900 calories per day. I believe was this one. I might be wrong. I'll go back and check. But it's kind of been the same for both. So 1,900 calories was kind of the guess of what we were eating per day on a regular basis. Let's break it down. Breakfast, we got the eggs. Again, amazing protein here. There's great fat in those eggs. They're super low carbohydrate. We've got the bread, and we're going to assume just a regular slice of bread. The butter, I don't know about you guys. I don't like 1 tablespoon of butter. I want like 2 on 2 pieces of toast, but I love butter. But we're going to assume like 1 tablespoon. And roughly guesstimating the sausage here. So we've got our breakfast, some good stuff going. 830 calories. High protein, I like it. Carbs, I like that too. That's not real bad. I'd love for carbs to be something else, but I think we get the 57 grams of fat is double what either of those other nutrients give us. So the majority of these calories are coming from the fat. And for weight loss reasons, for someone close to this person, size-wise, 57 grams takes up a lot of your fat through the day, almost all of the fats, if we're thinking on a per meal basis, right? So there's not a lot left already, and it's meal 1 of the day. So I'm not going to say, hey, the day is shot, but the fat is already pretty much shot, right? Pasta, meatballs, big piece here. That looks a bit more, but we're going to be realistic and say, okay, maybe it's not so much. But here's the pasta, ton of carbs, some protein, some fat. Got our meatballs, that's where the protein's coming from. Good amount of fat, right? Pasta sauce, we're not going to go with any like, hey, it's the worst sauce in the world. Like, it's just a decent sauce. And there's a little bit of Parmesan cheese on there. So we're sitting at like another 1,000 calories here. Good bit of carbs. Good amount of fat again. I like that there's high protein in all these meals so far. What we're already close to is the 1,010, and they were at 830. So we are close. We're coming up at 1840. So it's not past lunchtime. We're already past where this person could be comfortably to fuel a normal, lightly active day, knowing their body measurements and everything. So today's kind of done. Right? We're not going to get into the weeds and the specifics and nitty-gritty of like what could be better. Right. Papa John's pizza, 3 slices, no crusts. Let's see here. full slice. We've got like our average, what we think that would be, and we've got another 930 calories. Fat bomb, right? Tons of fat. And here's the thing, fat ain't bad. Protein ain't bad. Carbs ain't bad. You need protein or you'll die. You need fat or you'll die, right? They are essential. Carbohydrates are not essential. You do not have to have them to live. To live, right? There is research that says high-performing athletes eating carbohydrates have better performance and are happier and whatnot. Are you a high-performing athlete? Most of us are not going to the Olympics. Most of us do not train 3 to 5 hours a day. Let alone a high-performing athlete who's probably training more than that or more, right? That's their life. So keep that in mind. That was a sidetrack right there. But let's look at the estimated daily total. We're around 2,700 calories, about 28 really. Really high in the fat. That's what's killing it. The protein, great. The carbs, it's not bad at all. I think this is fine. The fat's just wrecking this for them. So if we just made some small adjustments, I think we'd have some meaningful changes, right? These are just like some realistic pieces of, hey, if you want to lose weight, this would be a good target for you, realistically speaking, right? It was just really fat heavy. That was it. And we're going to add one more cool thing here. The garlic sauce, there's a little garlic emoji. If I put that in there, it's now sent us over the 3,000 calorie mark for the day. This isn't the whole week. This isn't 2 weeks of gathering information and making some adjustments and iterations of what food could look like for this person. However, what's important and what I see here are a couple main things. One is that the dinner, the pasta, we said 1 cup of pasta. And this tells me this eye of this person probably could be recalibrated. Because a cup is this, like, that's I've got giant hands, and so it's maybe a little less than that. But it's a cup handful for most people, right? If you're a little on the smaller side, have small hands, then maybe a little bit more than a cup handful. But that's a cup, right? I saw almost double that in that bowl, if I'm assuming it's a normal bowl. So something that would be good is to ask about, do you have measuring cups in the house? Something to measure with. And maybe even a food scale. And if you don't, they're $15 on Amazon. Would you be open to maybe doing that? And not telling this person, you need this fat, this protein, this carbs, this fiber per day, this type of saturated versus unsaturated fats, omega-3s and 6s. You don't need that. But hey, could you measure at least as often as you can remember and just learn what food looks like when we have a cup of it, when we have 4 ounces of meat, when we have, this many slices of bread really means it's about, okay, sourdough bread, I thought it was just a slice of bread when I was logging it, which is an ounce, but slices of sourdough could be like 2.5 to 3 ounces, big loaves. So it's, possibly 5 times as much as you thought. That would be meaningful and low barrier of entry for this person to see some changes without being told to restrict. And they can see some changes just by learning for a couple weeks. So that's a big piece, is to calibrate the eye. A tablespoon is about the thumb. A cup is about a cup handful for most of us. A palm thickness and diameter is about 4 ounces for a lot of people. Mine's about 5.5 to 6. They're big hands. I'm almost pretty active. That works out for me pretty well, right? So if you got an eye and you got a hand, you can measure your food. A scale's pretty dope too. I want to keep these under 10 minutes, so I got 10 seconds left with my second one for this person. Something really simple that they could do is, as they're learning and they're seeing what the numbers kind of come out to, even if they just guesstimate them, they could just reduce the serving size that they have per meal and probably come out fine. I wouldn't start recommending vegetables to this person right away. And I wouldn't start recommending that they try to change 4 things at once. Learn about what you're having and develop kind of the infrastructure, or develop the bones and the foundation of the house before we start adding like bay windows and elevators and cool things that, under this mansion. We don't want to build it on sand is the main thing. So learning is going to be big for this person. That's super helpful for them. The other thing that would be helpful for them is to just keep eating foods they like and that they're used to, and reduce the serving size. Because looking at that food right there, pasta, pizza, carby, even though the carbs are gigantic amounts, it's a carby kind of type of food, and really high in fat. To tell that person they need to get chicken and fish and broccoli would not work. They would rebel and start rebelling immediately, internally, right? So, small things. I've gone over by a minute and a half. I hope this has been helpful, and ask me questions on this. I think I can reply to them, and send comments. What can I do to help you, and what kind of questions can I answer for you? You can even send me your diet, and I can be like, this is awful, or this is great, whatever. I'll give you my honest opinion, and I'll look at it from a step-by-step progression to eating better food goals. All right, later.